album, Brian May, kind of covers a myriad of topics, really. We were sort of winding down the hour that we had together, but it covers off Brian talking about his solo material, his work with Kerry Ellis, some bits and bobs on Diableries, and it goes back to Queen as well, working on a few other bits and bobs with Queen. Also, some of the issues that surround people who are famous. Brian talks about a few bits and bobs like that. But anyway, it's an entertaining chat. It rounds off this wonderful interview, well, I think it's wonderful anyway, with Dr. May. And we'll see you again soon. I've got a couple more to come. The Official Queen Podcast.
We gotta tear it up, stir it up, raise it up, baby.
You touched on your solo stuff. It sounds like things are happening there, because obviously Roger put his box set out and he had a new album out. And I think I've mentioned this to you before. I think Greg's sort of beavering away on a few things, but you do have quite an extensive solo catalogue, don't you?
It's huge. I didn't realise how big it was. Yeah, and I'm very excited for things like the Pinocchio stuff and the Fourier stuff to come out, and to see those albums, you know, the Resurrection stuff coming out again, because it's been a while and it hasn't been available. So I'm hoping that people are going to enjoy it. The nice thing about the Brian Talks section of the channel is that as new stuff comes out, I can announce it on Brian Talks. So I can keep people kind of up to date with what we're putting up there, rather than just shoving it all up at one time. It'll come piece by piece, and hopefully people will have a better opportunity to enjoy it as it comes.
Because there's a lot more to than just 2 studio albums. You've obviously had so many collaborations with people.
Loads.
You worked with Kerry, all sorts of stuff, didn't you?
Yeah, there's the Starfleet stuff I did with Eddie Van Halen, and an enormous amount of stuff. And I'm really looking forward to getting it all tidy. There's a thing inside me that likes things to be tidy. You know, I like things to be in a box where you can open it and you know you're going to find them. So that's where it's going to be.
I think that was probably the way forward, isn't it? Because you've got so much stuff. There's live stuff, there's studio stuff, the collaborations, all this sort of thing. I think people are really keen for that. I think, you know, you've got some hits in there as well, haven't you? So it's kind
which is nice. Yes, that makes a difference. Yeah, we have Driven by You.
Yep.
And Too Much Love Will Kill You. And, you know, Resurrection was a small hit, I guess. I'm very happy about that. I guess it's been neglected, and I've been too busy to push it forward myself.
You had a few things going on, I suppose, haven't you?
A lot of stuff going on.
You know, I was going to ask you, I have here on my sort of points here, what the situation is with Kerry, but just the other day I see the picture of you two together, and you're doing a track. So
yeah, well, we had a long period of being apart, really, because Kerry went off and did her Pledge album, and then she toured that, and Queen called me. You know, I had no idea that I would be sort of in Queen as much as I have been in the last few months. It's incredible. So yes, it's almost like we stopped the partnership, but we had a day in the studio a couple of days ago, and it was great. And strangely enough, things tend to come together, because the song that we worked on probably will be a very good anthem for Common Decency.
Is it an original song, or
it's not my song?
Oh, okay, okay.
I kind of wish it was. It's a great song. It's a real anthem, and I want to spill the beans, really.
Sure,
but I
you
think
say what you want to say.
I think it would be a shame if I did at this point. But it's a great track, and I think we both thought it's nice to be working together again, and of course I would like to make the follow-up to the Anthems album, which I made with
the
them.
album I really enjoyed was the live acoustic album that you did together there. It was very different, and it's very nice. The shows are very good.
Yeah, very proud of that album, and the Montreux DVD, which didn't get a lot of exposure, I think is really the pinnacle of what we did in that direction. Yeah, it's so simple, it's so dramatic, and Kerry's a wonderful performer, you know, and for me it's been, you know, when I'm in that mode, I'm purely acoustic, and everything is boiled down to the incredible simplicity, and I love it. You come face to face with the essence of a song. There's no frills, there's no extra instruments or whatever. You're down to
bare bones.
Bare bones of the song, the meaning of the song, and the original intent of the chord sequence of the song, and I'm fascinated by that. I love that purity, and to work with someone like Kerry, who's worth working with, who will interpret a song always in in a fresh kind of way, it is very rewarding. So I'll be happy. In short, I'll be happy if we do some more at some point.
Well, it was a nice mix of obviously Queen songs, some originals you'd written, some nice choice covers in there as well,
Yeah,
wasn't there? It was
yeah.
a nice. It was a very pleasant evening. Put it that way, because I saw you at the Union Chapel, which is a lovely church, and it was just people sitting in pews with candles, and it was actually very enjoyable.
I know, it's like diametrically opposite from a Queen concert, but great. I love it. Yeah, I love those moments when you can hear a pin drop, and we're doing something like I Who Have Nothing. I love that drama. And also it was very intimate. It taught me a lot in terms of this sort of forgiveness thing I've been talking about, like forgiving yourself, being human.
Yeah.
Because we would do a song, as you saw, and then we'd chat and have a laugh, and sometimes we start a song and think, oh no, that doesn't sound right, let's start again. We were very loose with it.
It was very loose, and it was very loose in the sense that you are, whichever way you look at it, you are a very big rock star, And
Is that right?
Yeah, I think you might
reckon?
well be.
You reckon?
And you're playing arenas normally, aren't you?
Yeah.
And people look at you on this stage with your Red Special, and like you said, it's very different. And then there's you just sat on a stool in a very small, intimate surrounding, and it is very, you're just sitting there. I know you very differently to how some other fans would know you, but it's very refreshing.
Yeah.
Barriers are down, and it's like
Yeah, I loved
we're
it.
here for a one-off show.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I hope we will do that again. I'm erming again because there's always that. Nothing's ever simple. There are always pros and cons. Because of course, in another way, I'd like to do the big shows with Kerry again as well, because we did anthems with a huge band and with an orchestra in the Albert Hall, and that was an amazing experience. So that also is something I'd like to do again. And at the right time, I hope we will.
Talking of the Albert Hall, I got a press release the other day about the Sunflower Jam is coming out on CD and DVD again, in which you feature quite heavily, don't you? Ian Pace.
With Ian Pace, wonderful, wonderful drummer of Deep Purple. Yeah, he's a hero.
Really?
Roger and I still have our heroes. He's one of them.
Yeah.
What an incredible drummer! What an incredible band they were and are.
They're still going. Absolutely, yeah.
And that's really good. I enjoy doing that, and I enjoy seeing Kerry in that situation because she's a queen of musical theatre. There's no taking that away from her, but she has also this rock ability, and I like to see her doing that stuff because to me it's that's. And rock music for me is where it's at. Rock music is where you really bare your soul, and there ain't no substitute.
and never more so. I'll take you back quickly to last year. We had two very different releases last year. Obviously, Queen Forever compilation with the new tracks in it. But I know the ones that the Die Hard fans fell in love with was the Rainbow release.
Ah, yeah.
You were a tough rock band, weren't you? You were hard.
Yeah, Taylor rang me up, Taylor Hawkins from the Foos, and he said, "Jesus Christ, I don't believe this. You guys are heavier than Metallica."
That was
it was a heavy outfit.
Yeah.
And it was inspiring to us because together with Adam we listened to it and we thought, let's put a bit of that back into the show. So that's why we're doing Stone Cold Crazy and Lap of the Gods now. It's a little bit of that toughness has come back into the Queen set, and I like it. I enjoy being a little bit of a hard rock outfit.
No, it was. It was one hell of a racket.
I'm surprised. I think Roger and I were both surprised when we heard it. We thought, actually, we weren't bad, were we? Because you tend to be a bit apologetic about your early days. I think, perhaps we didn't, perhaps we weren't.
And this is pre-hits, effectively, isn't it?
It is.
As well.
There's no We Were Rock Here, there's no Champions, there's no Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was. It looked wonderful as well, and the pictures were a lovely period, and the purple, and it was like a little capsule you're given, and the box set was fantastic.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I must say, I enjoy holding it.
No, I'm 100%.
Because it's another of those things, like we were saying. It gives me a feeling of tidiness because it wasn't accessible. It was in a box someplace and needed restoring and remastering and sorting out. There was a lot to do to sort out, because it was recorded in a kind of haphazard way, but now it's all pristine and sorted, and it's in a nice purple box. It makes me happy.
No, it now looks like we're sort of uncorking these sort of live periods, aren't we? So the next period would
Yeah.
be 75, which is a huge year in the band's
Which the boys
history.
are working on now.
Yes,
So we're moving forward with that. The problem is keeping up with the past as well as the present, because we're very active at the moment, of course. So
Well, yeah, this is the thing. You know, I said we have two very different products. One 1974, and then suddenly a couple of months later, you're sitting there talking about 3 new Queen songs, which you know, from interviews I've seen, you know, won't go over old ground. But you worked very hard on, and you love Kills, don't you? And Let Me In Your Heart Again was a revelation to a lot of people.
yeah, including me.
That's lovely to hear, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
I think we'd all forgotten what was there. That was a miracle to find that and realise that it could actually be finished. Enjoyed that, and I still enjoy it.
Well, what was the last song you wrote? Do you still write songs? How does that
last
still
song
work?
I probably wrote was I write fragments the whole time. So,
Yeah.
But the last song that actually came out, I think it was probably the Kissing Me song.
Yes.
Which
Oh,
I
I worked with
did
you on that.
with
Yeah,
Kerry,
yeah.
That's I think. Although there's a little bit of rewriting on Let Me In Your Heart Again, I suppose. It's hard to say, and I tend to write things and leave them on the shelf until they mature. They're like cheese or a fine wine.
Thank you for my cheese and porter for Christmas, by the
Oh,
way.
you're
Thank
very
you very much.
welcome,
Yeah,
Nick.
thank you very much. Yeah, indeed. I just wanted to round up very, very quickly. I want to go back to your Diableries thing. I didn't actually manage to see any of the viewings, but I was sat with Greg Brooks, and he gave me some glasses, and I watched it in his kitchen.
Ah, good.
And I was absolutely astounded, because I thought it's very nice, it's very cool. I'd seen some images before, but I was absolutely had my socks blown off, I must say.
That's good to hear.
And straight away I thought, there's merchandise in this. There's the characters. There's collectible things in that. That's what was apparent to me.
Yeah, I think it is beginning to kind of take off in a sense. In America, the book sold quite a lot. The Diableries book sold quite a lot at the launch, but it's now selling a little bit more every month. So I think it's becoming a bit of a cult thing. And skeletons are they're very marketable, as you say.
But the guy with the hand, he was kind of, he could get the story, but he was a lovable rogue. It was this kind of, there's you know, I could see one of those sitting on a desk somewhere, someone playing with it, or, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's right. I love the Diableries, and we don't have time to talk about the whole thing here, but, you know, it's a phenomenon from the 1850s. Which is a long time ago, but there's so much there which we all relate to, whether it's the kind of dubious fear of the unknown about what happens when we die, to the satire of, you know, using skeletons to represent the way we are and the way governments are and the way life is lived. And then just the pure joy of watching these skeletons romp around and know that they're already dead, so they can't get hurt, so they can get up to any kind of caper. So to me, it's a wonderful thing that we're channeling into the 21st century, and it makes me kind of proud, after spending thousands of hours restoring these pictures, that people can enjoy them at their full splendour now.
No, we've covered so much ground here. We talked about, obviously, Queen, your solo stuff, the political side, the Diableries. I mean, you've had books out, all that sort of thing. Would you ever do a book yourself of the Brian May story? Would you ever do anything like that? Or?
I've been asked a lot of times to do the biography, the autobiography, but I suppose I haven't had time, really. The closest to it is the Red Special book.
Yes, of course.
Which I really like, and to be honest, it's so much thanks to other people and not me. You know, Pete Marandrone pushed it forward. Simon from Guitar World actually did the work of gathering all the information together, with some help from Greg.
Yes, of course.
And the team presented it to me. They did interviews with me. They put me in a room with loads of my dad's gear, like recreating my dad's workshop, and we filmed it as well. That's something we can put out at some time. But it was all siphoned into the book, and by the time I had any free time to look at it, it was in very good shape. So I just went through it and did my own edits, put some stuff in.
Sure.
And hey presto, the book was done. So this is very different from the way I normally am. Usually I'm there every single moment. I'm arguing over every single word and full stop and comma. This book took shape because I let go and let some very good people loose.
Yeah.
And I love the book. It's great. And
It's
got
a great
so
book.
Yeah, it's got so much of my life in there. You know, it's got my teddy bear in there. It's got my first guitar. It's got the Red Special when it was being made, and I was playing it before it was even finished. And a lot of people have told me it's a lot of insights.
It's a lot of fun because some people might think, oh, I love Queen, I love Brian May, I like the music, but I don't really know about his guitar. But actually, there's more to it than that. You actually read it; it's a human story as well in there as well.
It's very human, yeah.
Which is quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're not talking about technicalities all the time. It's not kind of just this goes here and that does. It's a very engaging book.
It's a nice book. It's a dad's book, isn't it? Very much. A lot of dads like because they did similar things. You know, they made guitars when they were young or something. You know, or they potted around. Yeah, the book's doing really well. We now have a number of releases around the world. It seems to be more accessible than anything I've done, really, and I'm not unhappy about that.
I mean, like I said, we've covered so much ground here. I mean, if you had another hour in your, well, you do 25-hour days. You do. I think you're the hardest working man I know. But I mean, is there any other? I mean, your passions are clearly your hobbies, or your hobbies are your passions as well. I mean, is there anything else that you would love to squeeze into that funnel? You've got music, you've got politics, effectively, animals, books, diablerie, solo material. Is there anything else that we don't know about that Brian? I'd love to do a. Oh, I don't know.
Well, the stuff you don't know about is the family stuff, I suppose, and I think it's best kept that way.
Of course, right?
That's the other part of my life, and I try really hard to keep it private.
I think that's quite right.
You know, my marriage and my kids and all that goes with that, grandchildren I have now, and I've always fiercely protected them from being in the limelight. So that's really the other side of me. You know, the private side, and there's an awful lot that I never talk about in the soapbox or the video channel. You know, things that I keep fiercely private, and I think it has to be that way. There has to be a part of you which is not trampled on by,
especially these days when
by the media.
You walk down the street and it is kind of
you're
snapped, aren't you? People have got an opinion. People have got exposure to other things, haven't they? It's not. There's a certain amount of mystery that has been lost in a certain sense, isn't there? So
and I'm very much a sort of, Jim Beach calls me a national treasure now. You know, everybody feels that they know me because I've been around for so long in the public eye. It's been 40 years. So people go hi to me in the street and I don't know if I know them or not. You know, and people on the whole are very nice, but it's constant, and I don't think people generally realise that it takes a bit of adaptation to deal with it.
Yeah.
And some people don't understand. You know, there's some people you'd be in the middle of doing something with one of your family, and it's a moment, and a lot of people come over and say, "I hate to bother you, but." You know,
but I'm going to anyway.
You think, okay, what does this mean? I mean, on the whole, it's not a problem because I have adapted and it's part of the job. But there's moments when I would like to be able to do normal things without having to put in loads of extra time, because I know I'm going to have to sign autographs, and people are going to want a picture, and they're going to want me to talk to their mum. I mean, I draw the line there.
Is a bit much,
I do not talk to people's mum on the phone.
Thing is, the mums will be like, really? Okay, you know, they don't know what to. Come on, I mean, really,
but
you don't want to do that.
That's people,
Brian, it's been an absolute pleasure. I could sit and talk to you for hours.
Thank you.
Honestly.
Well, we covered quite a bit.
We did. I think
Thanks, Nick.
Honestly, I love it. I need to let you get back to your proper job, your day job.
Well, we're rehearsing today. This is where we are.
This is where we're at. And if people could hear earlier, there was chords coming out from the studio in there, and the drum beats and all that sort of
Pauling
thing.
rackets going on.
So that's what we're here. That's what Brian's here to do.
So we will be choosing the set lists,
yes,
working on songs, and making sure that all the technical stuff works. And then we're off. In 4 days' time, we are out.
It's on.
Romantic, can we do it again? Can we do it again sometime? I like that. Woo, seaside rendezvous. Give us a kiss.